Welcome to a new season of Hangouts with Peter and Sophie and myself. Today we are talking about something that I think that is interesting because many people are like getting out of politics, and we are here to present 9 good reasons to be part of politics, to be in politics, because it's something that is important. If you are not there, others will be. So, Sophie, what is your first reason for being part of politics, be involved in politics?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. Well, I just have to give you a story first, because when I uploaded the event on Facebook, like 10 minutes later after I uploaded it, I got a friend he sent a message saying that I can give you 9 reasons to not get involved in politics, because his family had bad experience because certain things happened to his family. So I want to acknowledge that, of course, to be involved can also be negative. But I would like to talk from my own perspective and why you should get involved. And I think one of the main reasons for me to start to get involved a little bit into politics is that you learn about all the projects in your local community and where your tax money will go to. And for example, they're like a big they do lots of road work around where I commute almost every day. And yeah, what is this about? Why is this so strategically important that you get these things done here? And why do you spend so much money on this? And why do you do it now? And by learning more about politics and how these decisions are made, you start to accept the changes in a different way. And if there is like, yeah, you know, all the public things that you give your tax money to, it's in healthcare, schools, all public transport, and all these kind of things that you build things together. Where does the money go? And don't be someone who just complain about where your tax money goes. Anyway, my number one reason is that you learn about your local communities and all the projects that's going on there.
That goes really on the path of my sister has a saying that says that we are more and more living of tenants. So landlord is thing, and we can blame for landlords. So give your first one.
Sorry, Philip, I lost you there. Are you speaking to me?
Yes, sorry. I see that there is some cuts. I was asking your first reason.
Okay. So I think one of the reasons it's important to get involved somehow is because you start to gain a really good appreciation of the complexity of human society. The word politics comes from the Greek word politicus, which means of or relating to citizens. So it's really about how we organise ourselves, how we live together, work together. So it impacts all of us. And it sounds like a great idea, but of course when we start to sit together and talk about what our priorities are, how we should raise tax, spend tax, organise society, we really start to see that there are so many different complex factors, and everybody's going to have their own particular ideas, their own agendas, and it's going to be influenced by their, you know, where they are in their own lives, whether they're younger, whether they're older, whether they have families, whether they have employment, whether they own a business. So it's when we start coming together to look at that together that it gives you an insight into that complexity. And no one ever said it was easy, but at least it gets us talking together and working together.
This was frozen for a moment, so I want to be sure that. So I have one reason also to add. My reasons will go more in a kind of selfish way or egoistic, meaning that you can develop things, and one of them is, for instance, to understand human nature. Many people have a bad experience in politics because they say they went to a group of people that were all friends, and suddenly they start not being so friendly. And sometimes it's funny because over here in Portugal, there is a saying that you have adversaries outside your party, you have enemies in your party. Because you get close to people, you get to be like friends, and then suddenly there are some disappointments. And I think sometimes people have like a kind of ideal image about politics, that if you are in the same group, everybody's very friendly, everybody is very good. Like if you are in a company, everybody's friend of each other. What is not true. So the interesting thing is that you get a lot about human nature. You get to understand people, their motivations. They will lead. So politics starts as a human. So Sophie, microphone, Sophie, microphone. Oh.
Yeah, I'm back here. Yeah. No, yeah, I'm like when you get involved in politics, you get to know about your local democracy and how it works. And I had no idea about these kind of things when I moved back to Sweden. And I joined a party which is called the Center Party, which is a liberal, sort of conservative party, but not that conservative as the most conservative parties here. And when the local council here where I live will have a meeting, they send out all the papers and all the paperwork to all the members of the party that are there locally. And then you have the chance from Thursday to Monday to read through all the papers and everything that's going on. And then on Monday evening, you meet all your party colleagues and you go through all the different points that you think are important. And if you can contribute to any of these, they will make notes and make sure that these are brought up into the monthly big meeting the next day. And this is a way to influence your local your local council and make sure that your point is viewed. And this is how it works. And I had no idea about this before. You know, I lost myself in the political school when I was a teenager. I didn't learn that much about how local politicians work and how they are involved in things until I joined this party. So I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn and a lot to understand about this process, but at least I know it's there. And everyone who joins a party who is part of the local council and that committees, they can influence.
Okay.
You know, if you're a little join and what you do and which meetings you can participate in. Thank you.
The interesting thing is that one person can influence, and the idea that there is in the society is that, I cannot influence anything. There is always influence. you're next. Something. Peter is your next.
I lost you again. So you're talking to me?
Yes, second.
Okay. Building on my last one and also partly relating to Philip's one, it can help you understand better how other people see the world. So it gives you a chance to get involved in discussions and debates and gain other people's perspectives. Now, we all know that often in politics that isn't happening at all. In fact, people are just shouting at each other, using their superior intellect to win every argument, but not really learning anything. So I think if you're going to get involved in politics, the thing to do is to obviously have your own views and your own values, but to also go in with an open mind and really listen to other points of view, because who knows, you might even learn something and perhaps you'll become even better in yourself. So yeah, basically it's about helping you to understand how different people see the world and to broaden your own mind. That's mine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm not sure about Filipe.
You're having trouble with him this morning.
Yeah, Filipe, can you lower your bandwidth? It's on the top of the screen and you see like 5 symbols and then the one in the middle.
No, I don't have that one.
Yeah, you have to hover with your mouse.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. It seems that now I am maybe
pixelated.
You can. It's better. So my second one is it is a way of expanding your network, of creating a brand new network. I have published books about networking and do courses about networking, and I always say it is a good way of expanding your network, of getting known in among people that you wouldn't really get to be known. So it's a wonderful way of expanding your network. Sophie.
Yeah. Well, I'm building on yours. I think since, like, I don't know when I got to know my first politician, but say it was like when I was 20 years old. And all politicians that I got to know, they are passionate, they are really, like, they want to engage, they want other people to get involved. But still, like, the media picture that I get from a politician is that they are a weird breed of people that you cannot reach. And I think, like, this picture is so weird that you get a feeling that you cannot reach them. But then when you meet them, you meet really engaged and interesting people who want to listen. And I think nowadays we have so many different ways to reach out to people who are involved in politics. And you can do that by being in different Facebook groups, which are talking about certain topics. You can message people straight to them. You know, all politicians have their, or at least this is in the case in Sweden, they have their emails publicly available. You can call them, you can reach out to them. And I think when you start networking and growing your network in this field, you get direct connections to so many more people, because these people are consciously networking and building their network of different experts and different people around you. So by just doing these these small steps, you get a much broader network, and you can also get in contact with so many more people. So definitely, you know, think about it from the network perspective.
Because of what you said, Sophia, I cannot resist in giving a small example through a small story. Many years ago, I was also was working with the party. And there was one that was this regional and the party was talking with that person. And I went there, we start talking, and like you said, there is people are more open than and more accessible than you think. And I was talking normally. The career of this guy afterwards was like this. He went to be Prime Minister of Portugal and actually President of the European Commission. Okay, so this, you never know what you expect. And at that time was a guy in a lobby waiting to enter a room of a regional party meeting in a not a big region of Portugal. And it was like this. So things happen. Peter.
Okay. So my last one kind of builds on what's been said, and it's a combination of being skeptical and optimistic. So I think it's good to get involved because it's a great feeling that you're getting involved with other people and you're discussing things and talking about things and feeling like you're really making a difference. But in terms of politics on a larger scale, in terms of geopolitics, in terms of things going on a national level, it's a very big system. It's very deeply entrenched with lots of behaviours and history that make it difficult to change the system itself. And I think a lot of people go in with a lot of great ideals and they want to really make a difference. And, you know, to be fair, some politicians do, you know, manage to change some key legislation and make a difference over time. But I think a lot find they get very frustrated by the system. You know, there's so many games being played, so many hidden agendas and so on, that some people just start to give up or leave the system. And some become part of the system and perhaps they don't even realise. So I think we need to be realistic about what we're dealing with. And so I think it's useful that we maintain some healthy skepticism and that we're not, you know, just influenced by everything we hear in the media and so on. But, you know, the final thing I'd say is that if we're looking at leaders in the political realm, the people we should really be paying attention are the ones who seek to focus on love and non-violent solutions and a much more positive image of how life can be. And I think we need to be slightly skeptical about any leader who's pointing at the weaknesses of another country or another leader or even another political party, because the truth is there's good and bad on both sides. And I'm always more impressed by people who show some wisdom and compassion than people who just want to beat the war drums and go into battle. So that's my final one.
Thank you, Peter. Another story that I have to tell. When I was more active in politics, I would get these kind of very skeptic people that would say, oh, politics, that is only for corrupt people, for dishonest people. I would always do the same question. I would go to that person and say, okay, politics because you are an honest person, because politics, honest people, kind of all you would get out of politics, what will be left?
Yeah, that's right.
And that is something that people don't realize, that when we get out of it because we are too good for it, the bad ones will stay.
I say exactly the same thing. I speak on organisational politics, and I say to people, if if you leave it to the people who are just there for their own agendas and you don't get involved at all, then that's all you have. They're the ones that make all the decisions. So, you know, it's important that good people get involved and try not to be corrupted by the system.
And my third one, and it looks like a bit of ironic because we are having some technical difficulties with the sound and image and everything, is that politics is a great way of improving your communication skills, because you have to present your ideas many times in public. So it is a kind of boot camp for communication skills. I remember that well. I started in politics when I was in university, and it was one of my key competences that I took from university, and I was not taught that in class, because I had to address my colleagues, I had to convince them of my ideas, and things like this. So it was a kind of collateral effect, and it was a very good one, because nowadays I work a lot with communication. So it's like that. So even with all the difficulties, the technical difficulties that we had, we managed to cover the 9 reasons. Do you have anything to add, Peter and Sophie, at this point? Or yes, Sophie? Sound?
Yeah, sound is on. Like one of the comments that I got on my Facebook when I spoke about something political there was that it's connected to what you said before, Flip. You get the politicians you deserve. And I was like, what do you mean with that? Can you please explain a bit further, elaborate? And they said, well, if people are not involved in politics, the only ones that will stay are the ones that have some kind of passion for it. And I have to say, yes, that's true. But the people that I met who are politically involved, they are great people. So what this person meant was he was just really bitter and angry about the political system and wanted to destroy it by just confirming and saying we get the people we deserve. But the people that I met so far who are involved, most of them are really decent. They are good communicators. They're good at listening to people and trying to understand the complex society that we live in. So anyway, of course, if no one wants to be involved, if it gets really untrendy to be a politician, sure. But right now, I've never seen so much political news as at the moment. You know, there is no way that we would have this much in our flow in the news and on social media and everything like 10 years ago. So it's like time for more people to really step up and do something.
You know, crisis and things like the Brexit and the election of Trump created a kind of idea that, okay, if you don't get involved, you might have something weird happening. So it's a kind of inoculation, vaccine that society is having. It's good. Guys, it was, as always, a pleasure to talk with you. Sorry about the technical issues. I don't know what's the problem exactly, but sometimes the internet has, well, there is kind of a solar thing going on. I don't, there's like some electrical magnetic problems. Maybe it's that, I don't know.
Only in Portugal.
Only in Portugal, yeah, because we are the sunny country. Do you have sun over there?
No.
At this point?
I have sun. I'm like sort of sunny.
Let me show you here. Clear skies. So we have sun, so it's our problem. So guys, thank you very much for another interesting conversation, and see you soon.
Yes. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye.